What is up guys, this is Kai from KaiCreative and today I'm talking about B-roll or B-reel or cutaways. So welcome to the channel. This is a filmmaker videography channel, so if any of those things interest you then make sure you subscribe and get involved in the comment section down below. Now I film and edit things from corporate events, concerts, weddings, promotional video pieces, trailers, music videos, short films, and all of those things require B-roll. So according to Wikipedia, B-roll, B-reel or cutaways are supplemental or alternative footage intercut with the main shot. The term A-roll should refer to the main footage but isn't really used nowadays. So with that out of the way, there are generally two types of B-roll. First, you have planned, scripted content. This would include things like short films and music videos. And normally you have more time to plan your shots, set up the actors, and retake if you need to.
And then just do that one more time.
Cut, reset.
No,
Don't cut. Don't cut, but reset.
For these types of content, you can generally use one camera. The second type of B-roll comes from unplanned content. And this would include things like weddings and events. And the issue here is you generally can't do retakes. Once those pivotal moments are missed, you've missed them forever. You've got one shot at those, and one way to offset the risk here is to use multiple cameras. Now people generally want the same thing from their content. They want content that is engaging and interesting to watch. And so that means that you have to film a lot of B-roll so that you give yourself options and a chance to cut in as much as possible to keep them engaged and interested. This is especially true for content that might not necessarily be very interesting. And for things like event promos, wedding trailers and music videos, most of the cuts that you're going to probably be using will be B-roll. So getting enough content and interesting content to tell a story is both a challenge and extremely important. So let's jump into the techniques that I use to film my B-roll. First up, film in threes. So use a zoom lens to get a mid-range and close-up shots and a wide angle mounted on something like a slider to get smooth, establishing, parallaxing shots or general movement shots. This gives you more content to play with, allowing you more details to tell the story that you want to tell. It's like having mini stories inside of your main story. Check out the link below for a complete video that we have for filming in threes. Now this brings us on to our second point. Get controlled moving shots. So this would include parallaxing shots on the slider, smooth glide cam and gimbal shots, jib crane shots. Subtle controlled camera movement, especially something like a parallaxing shot, can make the most boring scene seem interesting. The third point is to focus on emotion. So make sure you get those smiling faces. Film with a zoom lens like a 70 to a 200mm lens that will really allow you to put some distance between you and your subject, but also with an aperture like 2.8 it will help you to have depth of field, allowing you to isolate your subject of interest and allow everything else to melt into buttery goodness into the background. So point 4, especially when filming people, is to use the count to 10-second rule. So set up your shot and record for a count of 10 in your head with no movement. Don't be tempted to zoom or move your camera. I can't stress this point enough. I can't emphasize the amount of times in the past where I've moved the camera and didn't have a decent stable shot for more than a second that was useful. So I ended up with tons of useless B-roll. So if you follow this rule, you will definitely thank yourself later in post-production. Point number 5 is to be patient. Wait for that smile or wait for that pose or action, that handshake, or someone handing over a business card. All of those small gestures can have a massive impact on your final video. Of course, you don't want to wait around forever. You could waste vast amounts of time just waiting for something to happen. Get the shot if you can and move on if it's taking too long. Point number 6 is to film outside during the golden hour. This is a time when the sun is either just rising or setting. The golden light that the sun shines out makes everything look amazing. So whether you have a scripted piece of content or running and gunning at an unscripted event, using that time wisely can instantly give you a collection of B-roll that is priceless for your production. Point number 7 is to get some time lapses. Time lapses are awesome for events, showing the build up of crowds at reception desks and conference rooms, or even on the dance floor. Time lapses can really add to the atmosphere and energy of your video. Point number 8 is to shoot in slow motion. Now, there are a number of benefits from shooting in slow motion. One is that it reduces the shake in your handheld shots. Another is that it gives you more time to play with for those emotional shots. So if you have a bride who is smiling but only 2 seconds of that footage, if you have shot in slow motion, you now have a couple more seconds to play with. And of course, certain shots just look amazing in slow motion. Point number 9 is to get yourself some establishing shots. So generally these will be wide shots of the location that you're filming in. So if you're filming at an event, then get a nice wide shot of the venue. If you're filming a short film, get wide shots of new locations. This really helps to tell the viewer that the location has changed. And this does work with crop shots too, but generally use wide shots, as you'll find these are perfect for setting the scene and for changing locations. Point number 10 is to think outside the box. Different angles, use different lenses, look for things to shoot through. Use drones for different types of perspectives if you can, and try to mix in as many artistic shots along with your standard B-roll shots as time allows. A bonus tip for you is to make sure you film all the details. So whether you have favors on a table at a wedding, or if you're doing a short film and there's maybe some trinkets on a wall or on a table, make sure you film those, because if you get the details in, you can really cut away with them to help you in your storytelling process. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any tips on filming your B-roll, then do let me know in the comment section down below. If you found this content valuable, please do share it with someone else who might find it just as valuable as you. Also, don't forget to stay creative, imagine, implement and inspire, and I will see you next time on KaiCreative.
KaiCreative Ninja is gonna kidnap.
Oh, are you serious? What is this?
No. We could do some CGI smoke effect.